place. So, like I said, we have been through it this week with TEGNA. Hey everyone, my name is Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 52 of the Love in Stitches podcast. Oh my gosh, can you tell that it's morning? So funny. So wait, first let me tell you, I think I said this already. Today is Monday, February 17th, 2020. I'm already lost. And it's the intro. It is a beautiful, warm day here in Texas. We've been having crazy warm weather for February. I think it's going to be 80 degrees today. It got up to 80 yesterday, which is so weird. And then of course we have like rain coming through and cold weather. But it is morning, which is why my throat sounds like that. I don't know why, because I've been awake for a couple hours. But I guess I haven't really talked yet. So let me sip on my coffee. But today is a day off from school and work because it is President's Day. And so I get to record my podcast in the daytime, in the morning light. It is so nice. I mean, it's like 10 a.m., but still. So you can probably tell it's morning because of my voice. And I have more natural light. And I also was looking and my face is like still swollen from like sleeping. So... Welcome to the morning. I love mornings so much. I'm so happy. If ever, I am not having a regular working job, I would be overjoyed to get to record my podcast in the mornings. I don't do it on the weekends because they're too irregular. That's why I do record on weekdays. But anyway, welcome to the morning, episode 52. Okay, so I am not wearing any knitwear today because it's 80 degrees outside. I haven't really gone outside yet, but I am wearing a cute t-shirt that my friend Rebecca made. She embroidered Love in Stitches on this for me, and I love this material. It's so soft, and I like the little slight V-neck. I think that's so cute. So I love this t-shirt. I've worn it several times, and I thought it would be great to wear to podcast today. So that is what I am wearing. But let's jump into some knitting and crochet. So I have been having an interesting week with knitting and crochet. We'll get to that soon, but I do have a couple of finished tulle scrubbies. So these are the scrubbies that I have finished this week. I actually realized when I was typing up my notes that I forgot to do a scrubby on Saturday and Sunday. So I kind of need to catch up on those. But I was also looking at my tulle stash and I am already making a huge dent in it. So I don't even know if I'll have enough for all of February. We'll see. But I did make these. These are the tulle kitchen scrubbies. They're the simplest thing to make, made out of 3-inch tulle. And I have a tutorial that I put out last week. And so that's been getting a lot of really good response. A lot of people are making these scrubbies or making their own versions of them and letting me know little hacks and things that they've done to change it up. And it's just been really cool. So I made an orange one, I made 2 pinks, and then with the leftovers, I made an orange and pink combo. And like I said, I haven't made them for Saturday or Sunday yet, or today. I probably need to catch up, but I did go ahead and throw some different colors. I've been doing a lot of pink, so I thought I would throw in black and blue. Now these clearly have been opened. They don't have the plastic around them, so I don't quite know how much I have on here. This one looks like it has a little more, so I'm thinking I'll be able to get a full blue scrubby and then maybe like a combination blue and black. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to take those with me and maybe I will get some done today, but for sure I will get them done at school tomorrow. And I am using a J 6mm hook for those kitchen scrubbies. So yeah, super simple. These are my finished objects for the week. I'm not really that close on anything else, but check that out. You can also look for the pattern on my blog. It's 3 rounds, simplest thing you have probably ever made. Some people did suggest, let me think, what are the things that I've gotten feedback on? A lot of people had a hard time finding 3-inch tulle, but they could find 6-inch tulle. I think 6-inch tulle is more common for making like tutus and other crafts. And so you can actually cut that 6-inch tool in half. I'm not really sure how people have done it, maybe a box cutter, but cut that in half and then it's perfect. Or what else did somebody say? Other people were asking if they could use cotton. You could. I'm not sure if it has the same scrubbing qualities as the tool, but that is up to you. And then there was one more thing. I think there are some scrubby yarns that you can buy at like big box stores. So yeah, give those a try. Whatever you want to do, totally cool. Oh, and somebody said they made 2 and sandwiched them together and slip stitched them around. And I think they liked that. Whatever you want to do is so totally great for me. Mornings are so different. I love it though. I am drinking coffee. This is a mug I got. I've shown several times. I don't know. I can't remember the brand, but it was a local place in Colorado and we just happened to see like a sign that said yarn and we stopped in and I got this really cute mug from a local potter. So I'm actually drinking coffee. I have Fresh Market coffee, which if you know me, that's my favorite kind, and we don't have Fresh Market here in Texas. And so my mom sent a Valentine's Day box and it had Fresh Market coffee in it. So I'm drinking the winter. I think she got like the winter ones that were on sale. So I have like Snowflake or something. And then I drink my coffee with half and half. That's it. I don't like sweet. Like I like the coffee, I guess, to be flavored, but I don't put sugar or anything in my coffee, but I love fat. So half and half is the way to go for me. So yeah, let me know how you drink your coffee. I'm interested. It's always fun to hear how different people take their coffee in the morning. Or if you don't take coffee, what do you drink? Do you drink something in the morning or not? Okay, let's talk about whips. I'm going to talk about the most disappointing. Well, I say most disappointing. There's one that's more disappointing, but this one has barely any work. So let's talk about this one first. So this is my centrifugal shawl by Carissa Browning, and it doesn't look like a shawl yet because it's really not yet. I actually have done a few rows. I mean, that's where I was last week. I had just barely started, but I really haven't had any sit down time intentionally working on this yet. I think that's because another project that I'm working on is taking sort of the main stage. And once it's done, that's when I will start working on this one. But this is a knit along for DFW Fiberfest, which is coming up in the first week of April. So I definitely want to finish it before then. I need to get all of my yarns, they're in here in my float tote, tagged on my Ravelry project page. But I will link my project page below, so if you want to go there, eventually I will have all my yarns tagged on there. 2 of them are from Advent Calendar, so they don't actually have names. So yeah, it'll be different. This is a smorgasbord, I guess, of different things. But I really have enjoyed it when I've been working on it for just a little bit, just doing some garter rows. So I really need to get into it here in a little bit. But yeah, after the other project. So that's my shawl. Not much to show there. Nothing really too exciting happening. I have made a lot of progress on my February socks. I need to go ahead and move on to the second sock because we are in the 3rd week of the month. And that means I should be working on my second sock already. But I am not. I am, however, in the middle of binding this one off, and I just stopped. We were out and about and doing stuff on Saturday, and I started binding off, and then I guess we got to doing something else. So I'm like part of the way through a bind off. So for today, I'll probably try to finish this one up so that I can start the second one and it'll be good to go to have to work on at school tomorrow. But I did do quite a bit. Here was my chocolate frog right there by Simply Serving. And so I finished the foot, did the heel, and then the recipient of these socks wants shorties. So I did, I think 12 rounds of stockinette after my Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then 8 rounds of ribbing. And now I'm binding off. And the other thing that I am trying out, so my sister loves shorty socks, and I made her some for Christmas, and every time I make her socks, I'm like, please let me know how they fit. Like, what could change? Does the foot need to be longer, tighter? Anyway, so from the socks before to the socks I gave her for Christmas, she said the foot was too big. So I changed the length for her. And so this time the foot was great, but the ankle, she said, was too big. And so the hard part about hand knit socks is that they don't have the same like cling as cotton and elastic socks. But I thought maybe I could do a little something to keep the foot the same, but make the ankle tighter. And I didn't want to do too much, because then if you decrease a lot of stitches here, you might not be able to get the sock around your heel. So what I did is, right after I finished the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I have my stitches split basically at the like 2 corners here. I did 4 decreases, and I did them opposite of like toe decreases. So instead of starting with a slip knit, I started with a knit 2 together. So you can kind of see them in the corner here, I think. So I did a knit, yeah, you can definitely see that one. But like that very first round after the heel, I knit 2 together, knit across the needle, slip knit, and then did the same thing on the second needle for a total of 4 decreases. So for this sock, I went from 60 to 56 stitches. And so hopefully that will make enough of a difference, but not too much that she can't get it on her, over her heel, but that it will make it a little tighter. So we'll see. I'm anxious to get feedback on these socks. But like I said, I need to bind it off and then start the second sock so I can get rolling on these February socks and get those to be a finished object here really soon. Okay, so my main whip for the week that I've really been putting work into, and work is my TEGNA sweater. So I really want to finish this one up soon, because I have somewhere to wear it, and I will talk about that in a little bit. But it's actually pretty close to being done. And Tanya and I, we have gone through it this week, honestly. Let me show you the progress that I made, and then I'll tell you what has been going on. So last week I had just started on the back. I had just split. Hold on, there's a lot of different things going on here. Lots of stitches on hold. Okay, so this is Tanya by Caitlin Hunter. Look at that, those little like flashes of lighter color going across. That's so funny. And I am using Spun Right Round in the colorway Dusty Roses, and I love it, so pretty. So I had just split for the front. Well, I'd done a little bit. There's my little Starbucks marker. And so this is what I have done this week, which is like not so bad. But man, it took me forever. So I am finished now with the back. All my stitches are on hold. You can see I've got shoulder stitches on hold. I've got neck stitches on hold. And I have just switched over my interchangeable needles so that now I have the front stitches ready to go. I'm not connected to the yarn right now because I wanted to be able to show you, and that was a good stopping place. So like I said, we have been through it this week with Tanya. So I am making, well, I picked my body size based on the amount of positive ease I wanted. I think I'm gonna have maybe like 6 inches of positive ease in my bust. But for me, because my bust and my hips are so different, I don't have a ton of positive ease in my hips, but luckily this is a flared pattern. So basically I picked a body size that would work for me. But then I looked at the armhole depth and I knew that that was gonna be way too tight for my preferences. So I decided to knit the armholes 2 sizes bigger than the size that I picked. So that was, I did the math, figured that would be best. So, you knit, up for the back plain, and then once you hit a certain mark, then you start working on, that's funny, someone's car alarm was going off. Okay, so you knit for the back, like with all the back stitches, and then you separate and start to do the short row, you do short rows on this pattern in particular, and then do shoulders. So I knit to 5.5 inches. That's what I thought I was supposed to knit to. And then I started doing my short rows, and then I guess halfway through the short rows, it kind of hit me like, wait a second, I don't think I went up the 2 sizes I intended to for my armholes. And so I look at the pattern, and sure enough, instead of going to like the 3rd number in parentheses, I went to the 2nd number in parentheses. Basically, I needed to knit a little bit more before those short rows. So I took the stitches off the needle, and I took that opportunity to try on the sweater, make sure it was big enough, and it's looking good. And I also checked out the armhole and I'm really glad I stopped and ripped back to make the armhole deeper because that was going to be so tight. So basically I took out the short rows, picked the stitches back up, and then I knit another 1/2 inch, which makes a huge difference because a 1/2 inch means a 1/2 inch on each side. So a total of 1 inch more armhole circumference makes a difference. So I'm really glad that I did that. And then I did my short rows again. This was last night actually, I did my short rows again. And then I go to take the stitches off the needle for the neck, and something is like not right. Like it looks like I should be sliding stitches onto here that are wrapped stitches, and I know that that just can't be right. So I look back at the directions and I realized that I must have made a mistake reading the short rows, and I did. So I had to take it out again. So the mistake that I made with the short rows is the pattern said to like knit to 4 stitches before the last stitch, or knit to 4 stitches before the wrapped stitch. So in my head, if you're knitting to 4 stitches before the last stitch doesn't count. And then you have 4 stitches before, which would mean 5 stitches. Well, that was wrong. So really you needed to go 4 stitches from the end, and then 4 stitches like from the wrap itself, not the wrapped stitch. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I always have a hard time with short rows, and determining, like executing them is not hard, but determining like where I'm supposed to actually stop before the wrap, that's just hard for me. So I had to take it out, and I did it again. I stayed up really late last night till like almost midnight, knowing that I didn't have to go to work. And I got the short rows correct, and I got the right number of neck stitches, and everything is good and ready to go now. So I am so glad. I've been working on this portion for like an entire week, which is just ridiculous. So hopefully later tonight, once I get all the things done that I need to get done, I can pick up the front and I can make some decent progress on that. That's what I'm really hoping. I am getting down to, starting to get lower on my yarn, but I don't have too much more to do because I have the front, and then the sleeves don't take a ton of yarn. So I'll probably be using almost up to the very end, but 2 skeins for a sweater, that's not so bad. I know that my size is smaller, but this is also oversized, and I've lengthened it. So I feel like that's pretty good. And also lace kind of eats up some yarn. So that is not too bad at all. So excited to get TEGNA here going. Oh, I also wanted to show you what I'm using to hold on to my stitches for the neck. Here we go. This is the most awesome tool. So long ago, I feel like the only things we had to put stitches on hold was those metal giant safety pins, like kind of like the safety pins that go on cloth diapers, but like even bigger and thicker. And they're so rigid, and it was hard to like manipulate your knitting and still knit on stuff when you had stitches on hold. So these are like the best things ever. They have a tiny little needle tip, and then of course a cord, and then this right here has a hole that you stick the needle tip into, and then if you want to, you can actually shorten that up and make it like really short if you want, which I don't really need it that short. But that is the greatest thing ever. It is by Clover, and it is just called a stitch holder. This is the short one, so it's kind of good for like putting sleeves on hold if you're doing a top-down sweater. I like it for like neck stitches. It's really great. They do have a long one if you ever have to put like body stitches on hold, because this is not that big. I think it might be bigger than 16, like a 24 inch. I don't know if it says on here. 9 to 16 inches it says that it can hold. So that wouldn't be big enough for like a body, but I guess if this is the short, they do have longer ones, but they're so great. They're not expensive. I really love those. I think I got them at a local yarn store. And then I'm using my cords, the purple ones from my Knit Picks interchangeable set, and then these things to hold on to the shoulder stitches. So there you go. You got to do what you got to do. I don't like putting stitches on hold with yarn because I find it so much harder to pick back up. But this is really easy. And then one more thing, one more thing about this, since I had to rip out a portion of it twice, I actually decided to, I was mad at myself, of course, but I was like, you know what, I can make this positive if I could record a tutorial showing how I pick up my stitches and rip back. So that's what I did. I recorded a tutorial. Basically, let's just say I had to rip back down here. I'll use my knitting needle to pick up these stitches and then rip back to it. So I have a tutorial to show you guys how I do that. I haven't decided what I'm calling it yet because I don't really know what it's called, like ripping back or frogging or picking up stitches to rip back. I don't know. I need to name it something that makes sense, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. Okay, I'm going to answer a few questions from the Ravelry thread. If you have any questions, feel free. Why can I not say that? Feel free to go to the Love and Stitches Ravelry group, head to the Ask Me thread, and throw your question into there. Okay, so the first question is from Mama Marge B, and she says, "Hi Natalie, I want a giveaway on Instagram and I am receiving 6 skeins of sock weight yarn. I'm going to use it for Hohi's Madewell cardigan. How do I handle using the 6 skeins? I have read things and heard you talk about changing skeins to avoid the colors pooling. Can you tell me more about it? Thank you." Okay, great question. So alternating skeins is definitely something that is helpful if you're using hand-dyed or variegated yarns. If your yarns are solid and they're like machine dyed, like these right here from Knit Picks, you don't need to worry about alternating skeins as long as you get the same dye lot. But for my TEGNA, for example, these two are hand-dyed skeins, and they actually were quite different. One was more pink and one was more purple. I don't know if you can tell in that, but if I had not decided to alternate them as I went and kind of blend those colors together, there would have been a line from where it changed from one of the darker skeins to the lighter skein or vice versa. So there's a few ways, there's lots of ways actually to handle it, but essentially you're going to alternate those skeins. So what you might want to do if you have 6 is lay them all out and figure out which ones are most alike and which ones are like different, and how you kind of plan for the sweater how you're going to blend it in. So I would definitely, if I had like 3 lights and 3 darks, I would like use them together. Like I wouldn't wait to use the light until a sleeve and have a light sleeve and a dark body. I would start blending them in right away. It might mean that it's going to look a little bit striped, but for me that's better than having like different sections of my sweater. So for this one, for example, it starts with the body in the round. So when you're in the round, you can alternate every single row. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can basically just at the beginning of round, like switch, like knit with the first skein, and then you basically kind of bring the new one underneath and then knit with that new one, and then you're back to the beginning of round and the other skein again, and you change. I'm not explaining it very well. There's lots of YouTube videos on it. So you can alternate at the beginning of round. Or what I did for this one, once I got to the stockinette, because you really need to do it in stockinette, is I did helical knitting. So instead of changing at the beginning of round, where I changed my skeins moved by 3 stitches, and it kind of made the yarns like chase each other. There's a lot of different ways to do helical knitting, so look that up too. I thought that was a great method. Whenever I'm doing stockinette in the round and I need to alternate my skeins, that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you're doing a flat piece, like this is flat here, you're going to have to alternate every 2 rounds because your yarns will be on one side, yarn A and B. You'll knit across and purl back across, and you'll be back to that B yarn, and then you'll pick up B, knit, purl, pick up A, knit, purl, because you can only change on one side. Now, the danger of changing on the one side is that the side you're changing on can get really tight. So you just have to be super careful of carrying those yarns really loose. What I did for this sweater is I chose to have a slip stitch edging. And then I also created a yarn over. So basically I would like knit two, or I would slip one, knit one, yarn over, and then knit across, and then purl back across. When I got to that yarn over, I just dropped it. The yarn over was just there to make sure that I got an elongated stitch that was nice and stretched out so that I didn't have anything tight on my carrying side. So I think, which is the side where I carried? Let's see if we can find it. Okay, I think this would have to be it. So this is the side where I carried my yarns. You cannot see them at all. It's nice and stretchy because I did the slip stitch edging and I did that yarn over to elongate. And then this is the side where I did not carry, and you really can't tell the difference. They're just as stretchy. So that really helps. So that yarn over trick is basically a yarn over that you're going to create on the right side and drop on the wrong side so that it just gives your edging that little bit of extra stretch. Instead of you trying to be nice and loose, you get a very consistent elongated stitch. So there you go. Basically, yes, alternate your skeins. You're going to have a lot of extra ends because especially with this, it's like I was going in the round and then I had to cut to make sure everything was cut my yarns to make sure they were in the same place for doing it flat. And then once I got up to this little section, I did not alternate skeins. So I know that I'm going to have like a line and a difference, but for me, it just wasn't worth it to cut both my yarns, rejoin them, create four new ends basically, just to do like a little section here and a little section here. So it's up to you, but alternate for as much as you can if you have variegated or hand-dyed yarns. That definitely helps. Okay, this question is from Dorothy, who's Datma317, and she says, "Hey Natalie, how do you keep all of your hand knits organized? Do you store each type differently? Example, socks in a box, fold shawls and scarves, hang cardigans and sweaters. I want to display my hand knits because I'm proud of them, but I also don't want to stretch them or get holes in them. And as a fellow Texan, I'm sure you know that we don't get a lot of chances to wear them except for maybe a total of 4 days out of the year. Thank you so much." Okay, that's true. Actually, I've been wearing my hand knits a lot this winter. I think because I have cardigans, it's really easy to wear cardigans in the winter. So yeah, like 3 months out of the year we can wear hand knits like that, but I wear the heck out of them in the winter. Shawls, scarves, hats, everything that I can. But I do store everything a little bit different. So for my smaller scarves, hats, and accessories, I will kind of fold them into a rectangle as much as I can, and then I will roll them up. And then I put them in one of those over-the-door shoe hangers, like fabric shoe hangers, and I will just like slide the hat in or the gloves or the scarf into there. It's really great because then you can see everything and it's not, it doesn't get too creased up, and it's all, I don't know, it's all like nice. So I kind of have like my cowls together and then my infinity scarves or my shawls all together. Now, a lot of the shawls that I make nowadays are huge and they don't fit into that. So for shawls and for sweaters, I don't like to hang anything knit. I think it's just too heavy to be hanging. So I will fold into as much of a rectangle as possible, and then I will roll it. And I have this kind of wire mesh, like 3-tiered shelf that I put it on. So I've got my cardigans on the top because I've been using those the most lately. I have my biggest shawls in the middle, and then I have my like tanks and tees on the bottom because I'm not wearing those as much right now, but I will come like spring. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. My socks, honestly, I kind of keep socks everywhere. Like once I start wearing socks, like they never get properly put away again. They just get kind of like thrown either in my bedside drawer or the top drawer of my dresser, which is mostly empty because I just put clothes there that I've like worn one time and can be worn again the next day. So yeah, the socks are not properly stored. The socks that I haven't worn yet are like folded up pretty in like a little box of socks, but once I start wearing them, they're just a disaster. I should probably work on cleaning and storing my socks. Okay, last question here. This is from Knit Crochet Dreamin'. And she says, how are the ends of a lace project woven in? I've never done a project that was totally lace, so I can't see how the ends would stay in place. Hope this makes sense. Okay, yes. Weaving in the ends on a lace project are difficult, even if the project is not totally lace. If you have sections of lace, it can be kind of difficult. So this, for example, this is not the laciest thing ever, but this is one thing that's lace that, I'm gonna have to weave in ends on. So the rules for lace is you just find any bit of like solid stitches that you can to weave in. So like I would never take an end across a yarn over like that. That's not true. I have done that before. But with this, I wouldn't need to. I would find the stockinette part, and of course I'd be doing this on the wrong side, and I would weave my end into the stockinette, even if it meant I needed to go like back and forth, and then up here, back and forth. If you do ever have to go across a yarn over, what you need to do, I have done this before, because when things are really lacy, you actually might have to do that. So a yarn over is just two strands of yarn that are twisted together like this right here. So if you can follow with your end, if you can follow the twist and kind of like wrap around and then move over to the other side, then you can find a solid space again to weave in your ends to. I wouldn't do that if I don't have to, but things that are like almost entirely lace, like you're finding any solid stitch that you can. So you might have to do like, go through the back of the purl bump of a solid stitch, and then kind of do that twist across the yarn overs where those yarns twist together, and then find another couple solid stitches, and so on. It is a little tricky, but just as for any ends that you're weaving in, you can try something and you just try to match the tension of your knitting. And then if it doesn't look good, you can pick it back out. Sometimes I have to try things several times until I get it right. But yeah, that's just kind of how lace works. You just kind of have to follow the stitches and make it work for you. Okay, so let's talk about some news. So I have a new video this week, like I mentioned, for my TEGNA sweater, ripping back stitches, how you can pick up those stitches and then frog back so that all your stitches are nice and neat and ready for you on the needle. So whatever I end up naming that video, I'll put it down below and I'll make sure to link it for you so you can go find that if that would be helpful. If there are other like fixing things that would be helpful for you to know, let me know and I might be able to record a tutorial on that. I have some ideas, but taking feedback from what y'all actually need is way, way more helpful. Other news, I have a new group of students that are starting Crochet Club tomorrow. My 4th grade students, I just met with them 4 times for 30 minutes, and they are, while I wouldn't say everyone's like ready to make a hat or anything, they know how to chain, they know how to do single crochet, and they are off. So now I've got a new group of students, 5th graders, coming in tomorrow. I've got 6 kids this time, and 5 girls and 1 boy. So it should be really fun. I'm excited to get started with them and teach them a new skill. Okay, I can't believe I've been talking about DFW Fiberfest, but I think in my mind I kind of put aside that I'm going to something much sooner than DFW Fiberfest, and I need to start getting excited about it. I am excited about it, but I think I had just been like focusing on work, focusing on house stuff, and then all of a sudden I was like, this is coming up in 2 weeks. So in about 2 weeks, actually less, I think, than 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks from Thursday, I think. But I am going to a retreat with my friend Rebecca, and we are going to the Knitting in the Hills retreat, which is put on by Hill Country Weavers every like February, March. We went last year for the very first time, and it was a lovely retreat. Great teachers, very much felt retreat-like in the sense that we had lovely meals, we had great accommodations, it was a great space to be in, and it was just nice. It was a good time taking classes and then also having time to like relax and just knit and meet other knitters. It was really, really fun. So I am super duper excited about that. That's why I really want to get my TEGNA finished so I have something new to wear. The designer, Caitlin Hunter, is one of the teachers, so it'd be really fun to be wearing that. I don't know if I'll wear it like to her class or if I'll just I mean, I definitely will wear it at the retreat, but I haven't thought through like, do I wear it to a class or is that kind of strange? So anyway, I'll be wearing it at some point regardless, but I'm very, very excited to be going to Knitting in the Hills. If that is a retreat that is interesting to you, the overnight stuff I believe is sold out, but I think you can get Saturday day passes. There are, I think, spots open in classes, and then there's going to be a marketplace, and it was fabulous last year. So I imagine it would be just as good this year. But yeah, so check that out. And then definitely if you're like close to local, it's like a 3-ish hour drive from where I live in Dallas. So it's really manageable because you can drive and then you don't have to pay for like a plane ticket, which makes it a lot more affordable. But yeah, if you're local, check it out, Knitting in the Hills retreat, so that you can be informed and ready for next year's retreat. So much fun. Okay, life stuff. So we have a super busy week coming up. I've got something like every single day after school this week, stars games, meeting up with people, going to knitting, and it's just going to be crazy. So lots and lots going on. Work is going to be really, really busy for the next 2 weeks, but actually, I think that I'm leaving a week from Thursday for this retreat. Oh my gosh. No, that's not right. 2 weeks. Anyway, it's coming up quick, so it's going to be a mad rush and crazy stuff going on all the way up until then. And then the retreat, I just get to relax. And then it is going to be spring break for me. And during spring break, it's actually going to be my birthday, which is like not an exciting birthday. I'm not a huge birthday person, so it's not really a big deal, especially because this is not a monumental birthday. But I'm also getting my procedure on my vein, so I'm more excited about that. This is growing up, I guess. But yeah, so lots of stuff going on. It's going to be crazy busy, and I will be doing everything that I can to still stay on top of my videos because I love doing that. Also, yesterday, I've said my friend Rebecca, someday I've got to bring her on here so y'all can meet her. But she asked me to come over to her house and help her organize her yarn. And so, I recently simplified my yarn stash. And so we went, and she's got a beautiful space for her yarn. It's like the cutest little spot at the alcove, but bigger than that. It's a room at the top of her stairs. And she's got this amazing glass or wooden glass hutch with all of her yarn in it. So we got all of her yarn out, and we organized stuff into donations and de-stash and keep, and we made it all look cute. And we didn't buy anything new to organize. We used what she had, and it was really, really fun. So that was nice. It's always good it's like organizing is something that I love, but I know it's not something that everyone loves, and sometimes it's hard to get started. So doing it with a friend is so much better, I think. So that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Okay. Lastly, things that are bringing me joy in the same vein. I am obsessed right now with watching cleaning and decorating videos. There are a few YouTube accounts that I've just been binge watching everything about these people. One in particular that I really love is Brianna Kay. She's got 2 little kids, and she does a lot of cleaning stuff. She loves to decorate. I'm not really a decorating person, so I like to watch, but to me, I don't think it's something I'm gonna be into, but who knows? But I love to clean. So watching people clean, I don't know, it's fun, it's satisfying, and I'm super into it. So I've been watching tons of those videos, binging them when it's just me and I get to choose what's on the TV. That's what I'm choosing to watch. So I don't know what that says, but I absolutely love it. All right, guys, I think that's everything for this week. I am going to go get some stuff done around the house here, but then tonight I'm going to get some knitting done. So I actually have some major progress, hopefully, to show you in the next week. I don't know. Things are going to be really busy, so we'll see. But I hope to have some... No, I can't make any promises. Oh, don't even say it out loud. I hope to have something done that's not tool scrubbies next week. Let's see. But I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching.